Okay, picking up where we left off, we're going to make a little panel that goes above this roof here. So what I want to do first is let's select that roof. Let's Alt and Q to isolate it. T for top viewport. There we go. I'm going to make a little create. We're in compound. We want to go standard primitives. A plane. I'm going to F3 so I can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to drag out a plane just like that. Going to go to perspective. F3. Let's move this up above the roof. Do perspective again. Okay. And I think I want to go a little more with the segments along this way. 16 and 7, I like that. And we're doing more segments because if we use less when we start adding detail like changes of direction that we want to keep crisp, they would get kind of pinched otherwise. So what I'm going to do is prepare for that early on. And we're going to right click, convert it to an editable poly. And now we're going to grab some of these polygons. Maybe we'll do it this way. Select, and we're going to use, instead of this rectangular marquee, we'll use the spray can. Let's do this. It's a lot more fun. You can Alt to subtract. There we go. That looks good. I'm going to do maybe like something like this. And like this. I'm going to delete these polygons just like that. That looks good. And now, rather than using the conform brush, I think I'm going to use regular conform modifier. I think we'll have a little more control. So what we want to do is go to create compound primitives. Compound objects, I'm sorry. Conform. And we used this earlier, so we're going to just go hide wrap to object along vertex normals, which is set, may not be, so you would click it, just change to it. There we go. And then we're going to pick the wrap to object, which is the roof right here. We'll click on it. Bam. There it is. So now we have that panel where we want. I'm going to zoom in a little bit with the Z key. Let's convert this conform in the stack to an editable poly just by right clicking and selecting it from the menu. Okay. And now let's see. Let's try shell. Enter. Add the shell. It's got 3 depth segments. And let's add a turbo smooth. 1, 2, 3. Hit T on your keyboard 3 times. Enter. F4 to see what the result is. And let's make it 2 iterations. It's not bad. It's just a little curvy for our purposes. So what we're going to do is go to Edge. I'm going to select this one. Alt L. Same one at the back. Let's get to these 2 as well. Alt and L. Let's chamfer those. That value looks good. It's 1 inch. And let's go here. Alt and R. Control Shift and E to add an edge loop. I'm just going to Shift and X for edge constraints. I'm going to pull this forward with the Move tool, just like that. Let's go back up to Turbo Smooth and just see what we have. It's better. We still have a couple spots where we have curves, so we could fix that pretty easily. Edge. There we go. And we're going to just Alt R right there. I'm going to come up here to loops. I'm going to use Flow Connect. Auto ring is set. If it's not, you should set it. I'm going to click that right like that. Same thing on the other side. Alt R for ring selection. Another Flow Connect right there. There we go. Let's do one here as well. Alt R, loops, Flow Connect. Let's do one here. Alt R, loops, Flow Connect. And now let's just go back up the stack. See how that looks. That looks good. Let's just do a little edge moving. I'm going to select this edge loop by Alt L. Make sure our edge constraints are still active, which they are. And we're just going to drag that up a little closer. I'll tighten up the corners. Let's do the same here. Alt L. And we're going to just see how this looks. It may cause some pinching, which it does. But what we can do is edge. Can kind of fan this a little. So we're going to take this vertex here and move it away. It's going to reduce the pinch. We're going to do it on these. Maybe this one as well. Let's try it here as well. If it doesn't work, we can always revert back to where we were. Okay, I'm going to say okay. F4. You see we have a tighter corner. and you see that we don't have as much pinching. It's really like, if you fan them out, I mean, there is a little pinch right here, but we can fix that. If you fan your vertices out when you're doing some of these functions, it'll soften the pinching. It's really just an averaging of the smooth. So we have Shift X. I'm just going to move this a little bit like that. F4. And as you can see, that just fixed that. I think that's pretty good. You know, a little flat spot, but with the materials we'll have on here, and who's going to be above the train unless we come in on a biplane or something to take a look at it. So what I want to do now is come back down, and because this side worked out so well, I'm going to just go here and do a ring selection, delete that ring selection with the delete key. I'm going to go to element, because now there are two elements that are separated. I'm going to delete this element. Above this edit poly, we will add a symmetry modifier. There we go. Turn off slice along mirror. Add the shell back up. Turbo smooth. F4. And there we go. So now we have this. We could add a little more thickness, I think. Just like that. And in the reference, it just sits there above the roof. And that looks good. Let's give it a name. We'll call it roof underscore detail dash 01. And that looks really good. You can see we're really getting somewhere with this model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe what has to be done. I think you can handle some of this. Along the corners of the cabin itself, we want to add either a row of rivets, some rivets. You can do some research and you'll see that there's rivets. And we're going to make a window frame with an extrusion. You guys should be able to do this. It's a rectangle. Look at a window and 4 panes here, 4 panes here. And we're also going to make a little ledge that the conductor may put his arm on. But this is stuff I expect that you'll do on your own. In the next video when I begin, it'll all be in place. And then what we'll do in the next video is maybe we'll begin to model a wheel. So with that said, I'm going to pause the video.